Hey everyone, welcome to the weekly update. I've got a lot of stuff to go over, so bear with me. The first thing that I want to tell you is last week we showed the Aquatic battery-powered air pump, CSVFF11. Who commented on that? You won one of these. So if you will get in contact, just call the store, 803-731-4004, and we will get you your free battery-powered air pump. Now that's out the way. Thank you for everyone with all the comments. That is really helping us shape this show and make it better for you guys. One of the things that you're going to find in this video is we are adding the plants, we are adding the corals, we are adding Richard with a fish spotlight. We are also going to show one of the service account tanks, and we're still working out how to get your tanks onto our YouTube logistically in the store. So that we'll talk about in the next video. Lastly, before we get on to the video, is there have been several different comments about showing my personal wardrobe and or chest hair. I just want to make sure that if you really want to see this, there are 48 days in the week, not the chest hair, but the wardrobe. So if you want me to, at the end of all the videos, I will close in whatever my normal clothes are that you would actually see me in. So I need 48 people for the 48 weeks that are left this year to comment on that. And if you want me to show you who I really am outside of Fishy Business, I'll do it.
Hi guys, we're trying something new this week. It's going to be the fish spotlight. If you like it and appreciate it, let us know. And if you have anybody you'd like us to speak on, let us know and we'll see if we can add it to the list. Today is a orange spot guttata goby, or Amblyeleotris guttata. He is a prawn shrimp goby, or a watchman. He likes to hang out with little pistol shrimp. He'll be the eyes and they'll be the muscle. They will burrow together, and normally the shrimp will keep one antenna on the goby. If the goby freaks out and runs, the shrimp knows he needs to also. Nice little fish, full grown is about 2.5 inches. Keep a tight fitting lid. They can be floor models very easily.
So cute.
Okay, let's talk product spotlight. Whether you have a saltwater tank, whether you have a freshwater tank, whatever kind of tank you have, everybody has to deal with algae. And this is the best way to keep it down. This is an internal, easy to operate, easy to put in UV sterilizer. It'll fit snugly in a sump or actually in your tank itself, and it will kill the algae spores that are in the water molecule itself. You can run it at times where your light is the heaviest, or you can run it all the time. It does several different things. It will fight against parasitic infections by killing free floating parasites that are in the water. It will also kill algae. It is the best way to control algae in a fish tank. Right around that corner. If he doesn't have time for you, I will. Oh, fish are coming in.
Hi, it's Kevin. I'm the freshwater manager here at Fishy Business. We've got in some really cool stuff this week. I'm going to show you the highlights and my favorites of some of the stuff that came in this week. First thing I really want to show you, this is a fish you'll seldom ever see in any store. These are the MDOKA white lips. They are a type of Lake Malawi cichlid. These I got from a local breeder, and they're nice and big and beautiful. As you will notice, they do have white mouths. It's usually to mimic the sand bottom from where they come from. They are kind of a deep water fish as well, so if you have really bright light, they may not color up the full advantage. If you dim your lights down, sometimes they'll increase the blue in their color. Here's a cool little scavenger for a freshwater community tank. These are elegant STIPHODON gobies. They actually eat biofilm and algae for the most part off the bottom. They're really great scavengers. They generally do not reach over 2 inches. We got in some wonderful looking CONGO tetras. These are an extra large male assortment. I don't usually get them in this big. They're kind of pricey. They're about $29.99. They look incredible though. They're at least 2 inches in length. If you wanted some more CONGO tetras at a cheaper price, I do have them available in 2 smaller sizes. I got in a nice large school of FURCATA rainbows. These are an excellent nano fish. They do best in groups of 5 or more. I got a lot of them in so you can get plenty of them. They look incredible with those bright blue eyes and those yellow forked tails. This is a really adorable little scavenger for a community tank. These are little dwarf chain loaches. These little guys seldom reach over 2 inches. They are very peaceful. They do well in most community tanks with no problem. We got in some adorable little peacock gudgeon gobies. These are a nice little cool addition to any community tank. They usually do best in groups of 3 or more. I got in a good looking batch of the African ropefish. These are probably one of the most popular oddball items that we carry, generally because they will usually fare well with most larger community fish, or semi-aggressive depending on the tank. Right now I've got them in rainbows. He's so cute. We got in something kind of freaky that I haven't seen before. These are Batman NERITE snails. Look at the bottom. They look kind of almost like a clam, the way the shell is. But because of the odd-shaped shell, when you get them, you need to put them face down because they can't flip themselves over very well. Somewhat like an Astrea snail in saltwater. We got in a good-looking batch of silver dollars. I've quarantined these guys for about a week before I showed them off to you. These guys don't always travel that well, but this batch looks really nice. They're a good medium size. Silver dollars work really well in semi-aggressive situations with no live plants because they are vegetarians. They will usually eat up your live plants if you try it. They do get relatively large, usually on average 4 to 6 inches in diameter. Now silver dollars, another thing about them, there are many other types of silver dollars sold as a common silver dollar, many other different types. This particular type will usually top out about 5 inches in diameter and get kind of reddish on the fins. I got in an awesome selection of SAILFIN mollies, several different colors for you to choose from. Do best with like maybe 1 male and 2 females in your tank. These are the largest variety of molly you can get. Sometimes they can be a little nippy, so choose tank mates accordingly. These are some beautiful turquoise cichlids that I got in, turquoise jewel cichlids. These guys are an African cichlid in the fact they come from Africa, but they are not an African rift lake cichlid, although they're commonly sold as such. They do best in a lower pH, like your Central and South American cichlids, which are also the best tank mates due to aggression level. These guys usually top out about 4 inches, but I've seen them successfully kept with like Jack Dempsey's that were about 8 to 10 inches in the same tank, and they kind of rolled them. I got in an excellent batch of red blood parrots. The color is incredible on this batch, and the size is pretty good too. These guys are a hybrid fish, a man-made hybrid between a severum and a red devil. They are not as aggressive as a red devil generally, and as part of the gene in that particular fish, they do have a little hump head.
Hey y'all, it's Diana here, and I am going to be going over our plant spotlight of the week. This week's topic, we're going to be talking about Anubias. It's a relatively easy plant to take care of. It's a very slow grower. It's a great beginner plant. Also, you can attach it to driftwood, rock, and stuff like that, so it's really easy to take care of. Alright, the first one we're going to be talking about is the Anubias nana petite. It's the smaller version of your Anubias nana. Most Anubiases are going to like to be mounted on driftwood or rock. They take most of their nutrients from the water column, from the rhizome. They don't really take a lot of nutrients from their roots. So they actually prefer to not be buried. So they like to be, their roots are just kind of there to anchor them somewhere. We also got some Anubias barterii. Looks great. That's going to get a little bit bigger than your other Anubiases. And then next to it, we have the Anubias barterii wrinkle leaf. Looks really cool. I love the look of it. It's just a great plant overall. Then I missed that one.
I love it. It was great.
Thank you.
Yep. Bye.
All right, bye.
Okay, so how about a tank tip for the week? This might seem redundant and it might seem very, very basic, but the most important tank tip I can ever give you for an aquarium is to test the water. If you don't know what the water parameters are, you can't know how easy or hard it's going to be to keep said fish that you're trying to keep. This is a pH test kit. It is the most rudimentary but most important part of any freshwater aquarium. A KH test kit for plants is the same as a pH test kit for fish. There are so many different test kits, but if you don't have that on hand, it's going to be very, very hard to maintain good water quality. And good water quality, that's the way to have the best fish tank.
Hey guys, Hayden here. So today in the weekly update, I'm going to be highlighting some of the corals that we have in the store right now. So let's go check them out. Alright, and here we have the yellow polyps, super quick grower, low light, great for fish only because they grow so quick. Even your fish do nip on them, they won't be able to keep up with the yellow polyps. Super colorful for what they are. Normally they're hard to find, but we have tons of them in right now. So if you're looking for a cool, cheap, quick growing coral, the yellow polyps are for you. Alright, and here we have some of my higher end zoanthids that we have in the store right now. The ones on the left are the AOIs and the ones on the right are the Aphrodites. They're a little more delicate than your simple zoanthids and stuff like that. Medium light, medium flow, relatively slow growing for what they are. But they're super cool, super unique. So if you're like a zoo collector or just looking for a really cool zoanthid, come check out the AOIs and the Aphrodites. Alright, and to the left of the zoanthids I just showed y'all, we have these blue raven blastos. They're a super cool blasto. They require about medium light, medium flow, a little more difficult to take care of than some of your other LPS, but relatively simple. If you're looking for just something cool, unique that you don't see a lot, the blue raven blastos are really cool, and they mix well with a lot of other stuff. Alright, and here we got the Holy Grail Micromusa, which is a type of acan. These guys are pretty difficult to take care of, so you want to make sure to check in and dose your calcium, alkalinity, magnesium. Calcium you want in between 380 and 450. Alk you want between 8 and 10. Magnesium in between 1250 and 1500. If you keep those parameters in check, these guys will do great for you. Alright, here we have some Japanese deep water toadstools. We don't get these in very often. A customer actually traded these in last week. Super easy to care for, super unique. They're a little mad at me right now because I just moved them. But normally their polyps are super long, and sometimes clownfish will actually host them, which is really cool. The only thing about them is every once in a while they do shed their skin, and that can make a lot of your other corals mad. So you want to make sure you're running lots of carbon or poly filters to help prevent that. Alright, here we got some torches that I've gotten in recently. A couple different kinds. The torches are a little more difficult to care for than your hammers, frog spawns, stuff like that. So I definitely recommend your tank being a little older, around the 8 to 10 month range. Calcium, magnesium, alkalinity, you definitely want to check with these guys, just like the Micromusa, around the same range. They are known to brown jelly, so you do have to keep your eye out for that, because once they start that, it's almost impossible to recover them from that. But other than that, they're awesome and cool whenever they're doing well.
I know you're probably tired of seeing me at this point. However, I'm going to do saltwater with you this week, so let's go check them out. One of the most unique of the pseudochromis is the bicolor pseudochromis. Literally, it looks like somebody put a line right down the middle of the fish and put fuchsia on one side and cadmium yellow on the other side. It is a beautiful, beautiful fish that is pretty aggressive for the most part. You do want to add this fish after you've got a few fish in the tank. But hardy, long-lived, and a splice of two colors, it's very, very hard to beat for the price. A fish we don't always have in stock is the scissor-tail gobies. And it's a little misleading because these gobies tend to spend most of their time mid-water. And that's why I love them so much. They school together with no problem. I have kept these in various different service accounts in different size aquariums, and I've never had any problems with them fighting with one another. There are very few saltwater fish you can quote-unquote school or keep in a bunch where they don't fight. The canary blenny just has to make a statement, so we're going to show him too. But the scissor-tail gobies are great because they stay mid-water, they don't stay hidden, they're out and about, and a really, really cool fish that's not expensive. Who doesn't love a dragonet? We don't always have the target dragonets or the mandarins, but we do have one or two this week. This is a great little fish if you're willing to put copepods or you have a high copepod count in your tank. Very few fish have the color combinations that this species of fish has. And in terms of compatibility, they will go with almost anything. Okay, maybe not an undulate trigger, but they will go with most any type of reef fish. They keep to themselves. When they make an appearance, they make it with a huge wow factor, and you just can't go wrong with a great little fish. Okay, let's start with one of my favorite fish in all of saltwater, the Atlantic blue tang. We do not typically stock this fish because it is not the easiest tang to keep. However, when we have an option of getting a very young one that hasn't been in the wild too terribly long, every once in a while we'll try it. If you have a reef tank, this is one of the most stunningly beautiful tangs you will ever buy. It's not super expensive, but it's also not for a brand new aquarist at all. But if you've kept saltwater fish before, if you've got a new reef tank, it might be worth trying, as it is one of the prettiest blue tangs there is. All right, so this fairly young Naso tang just came in, so he's a little bit skittish right now. But if you've got a sizable tank, sizable being anything from about 90 gallons or larger, this can be a fantastic fish. It's very hardy in most cases. This particular one has really nice girth, so it came in with a decent belly. It looks very, very healthy, and it is a very long-lived tang. It goes well with other tangs as they don't usually bother it, and it doesn't bother them. Okay. A very, very good beginner tang is the orange shoulder tang, aptly named for the orange shoulder on either side of it. It is a very hardy species of tang that gets along well with others. It will get along with most fish. It gets along with most tangs as well. Tops out at around 12 inches, so you do need a big tank if you're going to keep it for its whole life. I would start with probably a 75 or a 90, but we have kept this fish successfully in smaller tanks for periods of time. So it is, again, a wonderful tang, very compatible with other species, and very, very hardy. It's rare that I lob brackish fish in with saltwater because this is the saltwater fish selection of the week. However, I've got a good little group of monos, and I want to show them and speak on them for just a second. So in the last year to maybe year and a half, I've used schools of these in larger tanks where I have larger fish populations, and they are probably on par with the green chromis as far as making a great statement as far as schooling fish. I have not had a problem in any of my service accounts with them messing with other fish, although they are aggressive feeders. They stay mid to the upper part of the tank, and they really do, for a lack of greater color, make a heavy statement when they're schooling together. They're a real eye catcher. They're almost bulletproof, and they're cheap. So if you really want to have that schooling effect and you have a little bit larger tank, a school of monos will not set you back in terms of money, and they will absolutely catch your attention from way across a room. Species of tang that's really doesn't get a lot of attention are the mimic tangs, and there are several different types of mimic tangs. This one you see right here is a half-black mimic, and basically what it mimics is not an eagley-eye, but a, come on, it mimics a half-black angelfish. And the mimic tangs are by and large a very hardy group of tangs. When we have them and they make it into service, we can kind of see how well they do. You might not be able to see in this video how well they do, but I'm working on it. Come on, cat, back to the right. Yeah, the half-black mimic tang, if we haven't made you dizzy by now. Great fish. One of the most popular fish in the entire hobby. And no, it's not Richard, because you can hear him over what I'm doing from the other side of the room. This is the flame hawk. The flame hawk is really cool because all the hawkfish species don't have swim bladders, so they kind of have to hop from place to place. They're very, very personable fish that will pop up on a rock and actually watch the people walking by in the room. They're very inquisitive, They mesh well with a host of different fish, but the one thing they do not mesh well with are shrimp. For whatever reason, most hawkfish will kill shrimp for no reason, because very rarely do they eat shrimp. So that's just a little tidbit about the flame hawk, but a fantastic fish, a hardy fish, a lot of color, and good for almost all applications with us.
Alrighty, so our tank spotlight of the week is going to be the 32-gallon BioCube. It's an all-in-one setup. You can use it for freshwater or saltwater. Comes with the filtration back there, lighting. You can get different colors of lights. It's a really great setup. We love it. You can put a lot of different things in here. It's a great way to start off in saltwater if you are ever wanting to get into saltwater, just because it is an all-in-one and it is a good size. It's a relatively decent price, so just come in and look at it. We also have a 32-gallon BioCube setup for that's already cycled, so come look at that. And then we also have other YouTube videos on what we can put in BioCubes, how to set it up, and all that fun stuff. So come check it out.
Okay, so there's a new updated video which we're trying to make better, and we're using your comments for both the giveaways and for telling us what you want to see, because this is your channel, not ours. So let me know what you think about the things we've talked about in this video. Some lucky winner who watched this video and does comment is going to win one of the UVs we talked about. So yes, a free UV to one of you. And for you local guys, I've got a used 90-gallon drilled tank that came in this week that I am going to give away to one of you. Come in Saturday or Sunday this week, enter a raffle ticket. It's only 2 days. It's only if you come in the store, and one of you are going to win this used 90. I've determined that it does hold water, so we're going to give this a shot and see if we can't give you something else. Until then, let me know what you think about the things we've talked about, and I'll see you back here next week. This is the 90-gallon we're going to give away. God bless. Have a great weekend. We'll see you back here next week.